He dropped one the previous time, and then this time Hunter says, okay, enough is enough. I have seen this played 4 times. I'm coming underneath it. Very nearly had the interception.
A 43, or rather 38-yard field goal attempt from Paul Osbaldiston. Well within his range with the wind at his back, but it swirls. He's wide right. Osbaldiston perhaps playing the break like a putt in golf. Misses wide to the right for a single, and it's 19-13 Hamilton. Back at Hamilton with a couple of former teammates from the '89 Grey Cup, the champs from Saskatchewan, Glenn Suter and Jeff Farrell, our spotter, here today. And for the first time since '89, the Ticats are hosting the East Final, hoping to get back and work magic and win it this time. And the game of '89, voted the greatest Grey Cup of all time, will be replayed next Saturday as part of our Grey Cup coverage on CBC. Mike Pringle with nowhere to go. Gang tackled by the Tiger Cats, who can't quite get him to the ground. The first man to make contact with Justin Ring.
Well, Hamilton defense is still doing their thing, and they're going to have to, because this was a big miss by Paul Osbaldiston.
You know, all week he says he's been working in this end of the field, playing the ball about 5 yards wide right because of the huge crosswind, but this time it didn't come back.
No, the wind died, and like you made the golfing analogy, never aimed at trouble.
That's been my problem all along. Complete to Jock Clammy. Sidesteps the tackle and makes a great effort at the first down yard marker. And this will be close.
They're going to say his knee was down. Climby reached up. He was close to the first down marker. But the official put his foot down and said his knee touched.
Right now they're marking him about 1.5 yards, close to 2 yards short. Will they gamble again in Montreal?
Well, there's lots of time. I mean, his knee goes down. Gerald Baum makes the tackle. There's his knee, and that's where the mark is. They're going to go for it.
Another gamble by the Alouettes. They're 1 for 2. They're standing and out to win. Ham gives to Pringle. He's got the first down and breaks free. Finally tackled by Rob Hitchcock at the Hamilton 50.
Big football games come down to 1, 2, or 3 plays. Tell you what, that is one of them right there.
And momentum is beginning to swing.
Pierre Virtual, Zumo KK, pull out there, kick out. And Pringle had tons of room for 17 yards.
What did we say about Pringle in the second half? Less than 5 minutes to go in the football game. A 6-point lead for the Tiger Cats. The Alouettes. Oh! And another drop ball by Chris Armstrong, who's yet to make a catch in this game after 2 big touchdown catches in the East Semi.
Well, he's had a couple of tough ones. I mean, that again was a low throw, and he's had a couple of these, but he's dropped them.
There's some movement on the ball, too. You can see the wind playing tricks with that. It looked a bit like a Phil Necro knuckleball. And taking a shot after the pass. Another second and long situation for the Alouettes. Sun is now shining. The wind still strong in the face of Tracy Ham. With time, is going to go deep down the sidelines. Davis is open, but can't catch up to the ball. Eric Carter fell on the play.
Well, Montreal wanted a pass interference call. The bench was jumping up and down because Eric Carter was leaning on the back of Tyree Davis. And he hit the ground. Tyree Davis opened up, but it was enough to slow him down, so he couldn't run underneath this one. Ham has lots of time. He goes to his 4th receiver. You see Carter on the ground. He was on the ground. This was late after the contact was made.
Just enough to slow up Davis so he couldn't catch up to that bomb from Tracy Ham, and so Baker will punt from his 50. A spiral into the wind, taken by Olive, and there are flags on the play, and it looks like no yards, but there's also a flag back near the line of scrimmage. A 38-yard punt from Terry Baker. And Dave Buell will conference with his fellow officials on that one.
Hamilton 95. No yards. Montreal number 6. First down.
Whatever your project, Canadian Tire can help it take shape. Canadian Tire, still the right place to do it.
So the penalties wipe themselves out, and the Ticats will scrimmage deep in their own territory inside the 20. McManus pumps. There's lots of pressure. Goes down the sideline, but Douglas Kraft has close cover on Bobby Olive.
Danny McManus was trying to throw behind. What that is as Bobby Olive goes down the sideline, he tries to throw it to his backside hip, hoping that the defensive back will overrun it. Great coverage there by Douglas Kraft, and there's no way he can get that ball in there. Trying to throw it in behind him so he'll stop and come back to it. Kraft wouldn't allow it.
Kraft, one of 4 or 5 veterans on this Montreal team who've announced this could well be their final year of pro football in the CFL, looking for one last hurrah. Here's McManus across the middle, and Darren Flutie had it and then dropped it. It's a punt situation for the Tiger Cats with 3:20 to go in the football game and a 6-point Hamilton lead.
You will not see that very often. Watch Flutie make things up as he's going along. He's supposed to have the wheel. He sees the coverage, decides to come out of it, opens up, creates a target, and then drops the football.
You wonder, he's looking directly into the setting sun in the west, and whether that may have affected his vision. The sun coming out here now in the late stage of this football game. Osbaldiston standing at his own 3-yard line. Haskins and Davis back to receive for Montreal. Osbaldiston letting the clock run down, taking most of his time, and gets away a boomer. Davis and Haskins argue over it. Finally, it's Davis with the ball. Reverses field. Kyle Walters has him, and they drag him down shy of the 40-yard line. A great swing in field position. A 58-yard punt for Paul Osbaldiston, and just a 7-yard return for Tyree Davis of the Alouettes. The Tiger Cats have scored just 1 point in the second half, clinging to a 19-13 lead. And in the game that was called on account of darkness yesterday in the OQIFC final, Concordia defeating Laval 17-12. The game was suspended at 10-10 yesterday. Today they played 2 10-minute overtime periods, and Concordia won it 7-2. There's a former Queens man who played in the OQ. Climby, who's had a big game over 100 yards in this one. Ham flushed and finally sacked by Mike Philbrick. Mike Philbrick, who had all 4 of his sacks this season against the Alouettes in 1 game in the regular season.
Tracy Ham wanted to go to Chris Armstrong down the field, but once again the Hamilton secondary will not allow him to get open. Armstrong trying to work to find an open area. He gets jammed by Gerald Vaughn and then Justin Ring. He just can't find the opening. Ham has to hold the ball too long, and Philbrick gets to him.
Big loss on the play. 2nd and long. Montreal. Ham again indecisive. Will run. Pursuit from Montford from the backside, and he's tackled well shy of the first down marker.
Well, now what do you do if you're Dave Ritchie? You got 2 minutes, 10 seconds left. About 6 yards for a first down.
Montford appears to be shaken up after making the tackle on Tracy Ham.
Ham has had 2 plays in a row where he has had tons of time to throw the football, but he can't find anybody open.
2 minutes to go in the game. 3rd down and 6. And the Alouettes are gambling again. Ham back to pass. Lots of protection. Then he ducks the rush. Buying himself more time. He'll run again. He's got the first down. He's very close, but there's a flag on the play.
Matt Cody was fighting with Gerald Vaughn and Rob Hitchcock down the field to try and get open. That may be the play of pass interference down the field, but I think Ham picks up the first on his own. That's what it is. Pass interference down the field. So either way, Montreal gets the first down.
Here's Dave Ewell.
Holding. Hamilton, number 2. First down.
It was Eric Carter. That's legal, the first jam, but it's later when Ham is starting to scramble. The Cody tries to get open. Vaughn's going to start to grab him and tackle him. They got the wrong number, but they got the right penalty.
Ticat secondary trying to manhandle the Alouette receivers. As Tracy Ham goes back to the old days and is scrambling to get a first down. And what a gamble, 3rd and 6. Ham back to pass, more pressure, that's Whitehead. Then comes Philbrook and another sack. Willie Whitehead, who moved in from the weekend position to the tackle to take over for the injured Jeff Cummins, is having a great game with big push.
Well, in fairness to the offensive line for the Montreal Alouettes, I mean, they have done a pretty nice job, but he cannot go downfield, and he's trying to find Chris Armstrong, and guess what? This time, because of the pressure, Armstrong is open, but because of Willie Whitehead, Tracy Ham doesn't see him. That's how it works sometimes. You saw that Chris Armstrong got jammed on one play. Ham couldn't get there, and he gets sacked. And that time, Ham has Whitehead in his face,
and Mike Philbrook is down on the field.
Stop into Canadian Tire for everything you need to get your car back on track. Canadian Tire, still the right place to do it.
Ticats looking on anxiously from their bench as Mike Philbrook stays down on the turf. Another one of those 6 Hamilton boys having a great game here at Ivor Wynn.
Ron Lancaster said at the very beginning of the season that the strength of his team, despite Danny McManus, despite Darren Flutie, was going to be his defense, and it's going to be his defense. It's going to win it or lose it for him.
Philbrook has been so instrumental on the interior of that Hamilton defense. Said he was lured back after contemplating retirement. Came back to watch a preseason game. Joe Romolo was injured, and they said, look, Ron Lancaster has big plans. Come and talk to him and see what he wants to do in turning around this team as we look at the injured Bobby Olive nursing his right hand. And you know what? Philbrook was hooked. One game before the season started, he was back in a Ticat uniform.
It has been a physical game. Bobby Olive with a cut on his hand. Philbrook making his way to the sideline, and it usually is this time of year.
Second and long, the first down marker way down at the 45 of Hamilton. Ham striking deep, looking for Climby. It's incomplete. Frank West and Orlando Steinauer, and it looks like Climby is begging on his knees for a penalty.
I don't know, from my angle, the timing looked pretty good. I mean, there wasn't a lot of room for Tracy Ham to try and get that football into Jock Climby. But there are Hamilton Ticat defenders all over the place. Here it comes. Ball's coming right at you. Frank West, the nickel, breaking on it.
Well, Steinauer was all over him, draped on his back, but no call. And now another huge 3rd down gamble. 22 yards to go. 1:24 left in the game. Ham buying himself time. They need a first down. Now he's running for it, and he won't get it. Now the clock didn't move on the play, and now it's ticking after the whistle's been blown.
Dave Ritchie is pointing to the clock because it continued to run while both teams were changing offensively and defensively. Ham just cannot find an open receiver.
And in desperation, he runs and doesn't get it as Willie Whitehead tracks him down from behind. Climby open.
He got open, but he got open to the wrong side of the field. Ham was going to his left, and Climby went way over to the opposite side. And he got open late, and Ham just couldn't get it back, and they put some seconds back on the clock for Dave Ritchie.
It's gone from 106 back up to 122, but you have to wonder, was that the last hurrah for Tracy Ham and the Alouettes?
In the CFL, a minute and 22 is a long time. Danny McManus has been there before. He needs a first down or 2 to ice this one, or Montreal is going to get the ball back.
Potent in the first half. The Ticat offense has been quiet in the second half with just 1 point. And now Dave Ewell talking with the timer about the time, and that is critical at this stage. 1:22 is on the clock right now.
Well, they're going to straighten that time situation out, but what a courageous effort by the defense of the Montreal Alouettes. I mean, Doug Peterson lost early. Tom Hicks had to come in and replace him. He was banged up coming into the game. They said he was around 70%. Steve Charbonneau's been battling in the middle. They've held Danny McManus in the second half, giving their team a chance to win.
1:22 to play in the East Final. A 6-point Hamilton lead. And Gravely comes up quick from the linebacker position to stop Ronald Williams.
I believe Alfred Payton just called the timeout.
Ron Lancaster anxious with 1:19 to go.
Okay.
They've called a timeout. Now, see, sometimes you got to call your timeout when you're on defense because you can't control the football. When you have the football, you can control the clock by throwing it to the sideline and getting out of bounds. When you don't have, you want to stop the clock by a timeout.
Tracy Ham at the age of 34. Some people wondering if he might retire. He's indicated that could be the case after this year. Jock Climby talking about the sense of urgency on this team for him and for others. Like Ham said, for Tracy in particular, it probably has occurred to him that he has the rest of his life to think about his last game, and the emotion when you think about that your career might be coming to an end, becomes awfully high in a game like this. Bootleg, first time we've seen that from McManus. He'll pass. It's out of bounds, and a punting situation for the Tiger Cats.
Well, he had him fooled early, but Danny McManus simply doesn't have the speed to get to the outside. When he realized he was going to be run down and held short, he had to try and throw it.
1:14 left on the clock. The Alouettes will get the ball back. McManus without a completion in 5 attempts in the fourth quarter of this football game.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Dave Ritchie has got to be proud about the play of his defense, especially in the second half. And now they've once again given their team the ball one more time.
Tyree Davis, the lone man back for the Alouettes. Will they attempt the block or the return? They'll set up the return. As Balderson angles it out of bounds at the 20-yard line. A 39-yard punt from Ozzie. And he tactically puts it out of bounds at the 20 of Montreal. 1:07 left to go. Tracy Ham will get another chance as Danny Mack shows his frustration, unable to move the ball and eat up the clock.
They had the one drive in the third quarter against the wind, but other than that, it's been all Montreal's defense, and that has given Tracy Ham one more opportunity with 1:07 left to not only move the football, but he has to manage the clock.
Well, he said teams have challenged him to be perfect as a passer, and now that challenge is at hand for Ham. Time dumps it off for Matt Cody, and he can't keep himself in bounds. Running out for a gain of maybe a yard.
Tracy Ham must be amazed at the amount of time that he's had to throw the football, and he still cannot find receivers downfield. I mean, he is standing in there all day.
Getting great protection from his offensive line. The same men who've opened more than 2,000 yards rushing for Pringle this year. There's Armstrong. He hasn't had a catch in this game. Ham's favorite target. 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9. Ham with an eternity, it seems. And there's Michael Souls open for the first down and out of bounds to stop the clock with 54 seconds to play in the game.
Well, Neil Fort, Brian Chu, Sutherland, the boys up front are giving Tracy Ham opportunity. Michael Souls comes up with a key first down, but Tracy Ham has a long time back there.
Souls playing his heart out in this football game. 3 catches now for 45 yards. He has said he will retire after this season. 1 Grey Cup with the Eskimos. And back to pass on first down. More time. He's going deep. It's long. It's complete to Tyree Davis with Eric Carter draped all over him. 47 seconds to go in the game.
Well, now the frustration for the Hamilton Tiger Cats begins, because that time they only rushed 3. They drop everyone back. Carter can't make the play.
What a catch by Davis, who's had problems all game holding on to the ball. Ham, another pass. Justin Ring tried to knock it down, missed it, but Pringle couldn't hold on. Incomplete, and that stops the clock with 38 seconds.
Straight man defense. Justin Ring matched up on Mike Pringle, and when he looks at this one tomorrow, he's going to say, I should have caught it. I should have turned around and tried to catch the football, because he was there real early, and Danny McManus can only sit and watch.
First down.
The call goes against the Tiger Cats.
They tried to make a substitution, had too many men on the field.
Wow.
And now they're trying to work it out. Justin Ring's heading to the bench. Lamar McGrate's coming back on.
Ball's on the Hamilton 28. 38 seconds to play in the game. Ham looking. It's complete. Finally, Chris Armstrong makes the catch. And what a time to come up big. The ball's on the Hamilton 3.
He saved his best for last. Got inside position on Gerald Vaughn and used his body to protect the football.
32 seconds to play. First and goal. Alouettes on the 3. Ham throwing. Touchdown, Alouettes. Matt Cody. Signals they'll go for one convert to take the lead in this game. It's tied 19-all as Matt Cody gets his second touchdown of the East Final, and Tracy Ham in the last minute of the game works magic.
Unbelievable.
Baker's convert is good. The Alouettes take the lead for the first time in this football game with 24 seconds left to play.
We said save the best for last. Chris Armstrong, Tracy Ham's going to roll away. He hits Matt Cody to the outside. This is the touchdown. The play earlier was Armstrong down the seam to set it up, and the bench goes nuts.
Drive 6 plays, 90 yards, taking only 43 seconds.
And now this is what they're going to do. Montreal's going to line up in the kickoff formation with 24 seconds left and likely hit it along the ground. That'll start the clock, and it'll bounce it around and use up some of the time, because they don't want to give Danny McManus any time with the football.
Paul Osbaldiston will have the wind at his back if he's called upon for either a punt single or a field goal attempt. Single will tie it, field goal to win. And in warm-ups, he kicked one 54 yards with the wind. Danny Mack licking his fingers, getting set to go on offense. He knows he's got maybe 2 or 3 plays to get this team into scoring range.
Yeah, it'll depend on how well Terry Baker can hit this along the ground.
Baker puts it up. Held up by the wind. Ronald Williams touches it, drops it, then gets it on the bounce. Breaks free. Gets very close to the 45-yard line. That play took only 4 seconds.
See, that's a mistake to me by Terry Baker. Now, I don't know if he did it on his own or it was obviously come in from the sideline. But when you kick it in the air, the clock doesn't start until it touches Ron Williams. That's why that play only took 4 seconds. Now, Danny McManus has 20 seconds with the clock. He can get 4 or 5 plays in 20 seconds. There's still lots of time to put his team in position to kick that single to tie or a field goal to win.
Danny Mack without a completion in the 4th quarter in 5 attempts. And now the weight heavy on his shoulders. Full of playoff experience. 20 seconds to go. McManus, quick release. It's complete to Flutie for the first down. But he stays in bounds. That means the clock will keep running. 16 seconds to go in the game.
The clock starts as soon as the official blows his whistle. They're out over the ball, ready to go.
McManus in the hurry-up offense. Hands off to Ronald Williams. 10 seconds to go. Trying to get that ball into position. inside the hash marks.
Sorry, Mark. McManus is trying to get the call from the sideline. He wants to send in the kicking team right now.
Yes, and Osbaldiston's coming into the game. The ball is on the 47-yard line of the Alouettes.